When I caught my wife cheating, she thought she would ruin me. What she didn't know was that I was sitting on a secret worth over $1 million. And the man hiding in my closet just made sure she'd never touch a dime of it.
I wasn't supposed to be home until 6:00 p.m. That had been the plan. The routine, the expectation. Instead, at exactly 2:47 p.m., my car rolled into the driveway hours earlier than it ever should have. As I shut off the engine, something felt off before I even stepped out. The front door was unlocked. That was the first warning sign. Olivia never left it that way, not once, not in 8 years. Even when she was home, even when she was just stepping outside for a minute, that door was always locked. Always, I pushed it open slowly. Olivia, no answer. I stepped into the living room, my eyes scanning instinctively. Her purse sat on the kitchen counter. Her phone was next to it, face down like it had been dropped in a hurry. The television was off. The house was quiet, too quiet. Then I heard it, a creaky from upstairs, the soft groan of floorboards shifting. Or maybe the sound of someone moving very carefully, trying not to be heard. Olivia, I called again, louder this time. Footsteps followed, quick, panicked. Then her voice, high, tight, forced calm. Daniel, why are you home early? She appeared at the top of the stairs. Her hair was messy. Her cheeks were flushed. And she was wearing a robe at 3:00 in the afternoon on a Tuesday. Work sent me home, I said, watching her face closely. Pipe burst, flooded a whole floor. Oh, that's too bad, she said too fast. I started up the stairs. She didn't move. She just stood there, blocking the hallway like a human barricade. You okay? I asked. Yeah, fine, I just wasn't expecting you. I reached the top step and looked past her straight toward our bedroom. The door was half open. And the closet door, the one that never closed properly because the latch was broken, was moving, swinging gently back and forth, like someone had just pushed it shut. Olivia, I said quietly. Why is the closet moving? Her face drained of color. It's the AC vent, she said quickly. It does that sometimes. I looked at her, really looked. Her hands were shaking. I walked past her. She grabbed my arm. Daniel, please. Don't. I pulled free and pushed open the bedroom door. The room told the truth before anyone else could. Sheets tangled, pillows on the floor, clothes out of place. And the closet door was still now, too still. I walked toward it. Daniel, please, she whispered. I grabbed the handle. There's nothing in there, she said, her voice cracking. I swear. I opened the door. Standing there, pressed against my hanging shirts, phone still in his hand like he'd been mid-text, was a man I had never seen before. Shirtless, jeans half-buttoned, eyes wide with panic. For 3 full seconds, no one moved. Then he said the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Hey man, this isn't what it looks like. I stared at him, then at Olivia, then back at him. And I started laughing. Not angry laughter, not bitter laughter. The kind of laughter that comes when your brain simply can't reconcile what your eyes are seeing. You're in my closet, I said. Yeah. Hiding? Yeah. In my closet, he nodded. I looked at Olivia. She was crying now. Mascara streaked down her face, her hands trembling. How long? I asked. Daniel, please let me explain. How long? She swallowed hard. 6 months. 6 months. I turned back to the man still standing in my closet. What's your name? Ethan. Ethan, I repeated. You have 10 seconds to get dressed and get out of my house. He froze. 10. He grabbed his shirt. 9. Fumbled with his shoes. 8. Olivia was sobbing. Daniel, please. 7. Ethan shoved past me half-dressed, bolted down the stairs, and slammed the front door behind him. I stood there in my bedroom, my wife behind me, the closet door still open. And that's when I realized something unexpected. I wasn't angry. I was relieved. Because for 6 months, I'd been planning something Olivia knew nothing about, and Ethan had just made it a whole lot easier. If you want to know what I'd been planning, and why I laughed when I should have been furious, hit subscribe. Because what happened next turned her affair into the biggest mistake of her life. My name is Daniel Brennan. I'm 39 years old. I'm a systems engineer for a manufacturing company in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I work long hours. I travel when needed. I make good money, not rich, but comfortable. I've been married to Olivia for 8 years. Or I was married to Olivia. Let me rewind. 6 months ago, the same time her affair apparently began, something else started. My company was acquired, not a hostile takeover, a clean merger. The kind that comes with press releases, corporate smiles, and everyone pretending it's good news. For most people, it meant a new logo on their paycheck. For me, it meant something else. Buried deep in my employment contract, when I signed 7 years earlier, was a clause I'd forgotten entirely. Section 14.3, Equity acceleration upon change of control. Translation. If the company gets sold, your stock options vest immediately. I had 50,000 options granted at $2 per share. The acquisition price, $47 per share, do the math. $2.25 million before taxes. I was sitting in a conference room when HR explained it, flipping through paperwork like it was a grocery list. Your options will vest on the closing date. You'll have 90 days to exercise them. We recommend speaking with a financial advisor. I nodded, smiled, shook hands. Then I went to my car and sat there for 20 minutes staring at the steering wheel. $2.25 million, life-changing money, the kind of money that meant choices. And the very first choice I made was this. I didn't tell Olivia. Not because I didn't trust her. Or maybe, if I'm being honest, that's exactly why I kept quiet. Something had been off for a long time. Months, at least. The shift wasn't sudden, it was gradual, subtle enough that I kept explaining it away. She was distant, distracted, present in the room, but never really with me. She started going to the gym more often, not casually, religiously. New workout routines, new clothes, then new clothes that weren't just for the gym, new hair, a different look. All the classic signs people warn you about, the ones you're told not to overreact to, and I didn't. I told myself I was being paranoid. You're overthinking it, I'd say in my own head. She's just taking care of herself, people change. But then came the late nights, the girls' nights out that suddenly had a schedule. The way she tilted her phone away whenever I entered the room, like the screen held something fragile. The way she started sleeping on the far edge of the bed, leaving space between us, like a border I wasn't allowed to cross. I didn't have proof, just a feeling, and that feeling made me pause. So when HR told me about the $2.25 million, I didn't celebrate. I didn't rush home with the news. I didn't say a word. I made a decision. I would wait, I would watch, and I would see who she really was when she thought nothing was at stake. I started paying attention, not obsessively, not secretly following her, but noticing patterns I'd ignored before. I noticed she started wearing perfume to the gym. I noticed her girls' nights always landed on Tuesdays and Thursdays, the same nights I worked late. I noticed she bought lingerie I had never once seen her wear for me. One night I checked the credit card statement. There it was, Marriott, downtown, $247. I asked her about it casually. "Oh, that was for Jess's bachelorette party," she said smoothly. "We got a room so no one had to drive. Jess got married 2 years ago," she blinked. "Different Jess." I nodded, didn't push, didn't argue, but I took a screenshot, and that's when I started building a file. I didn't hire a private investigator. I didn't need to. I'm a systems engineer. Technology leaves trails whether people want it to or not. Our cell phone plan had a family tracking feature. She'd set it up years ago for safety, she said. So we'd always know where the other was. I had never used it before until now. I checked it casually at first, just out of curiosity. The pattern was unmistakable. Every Tuesday and Thursday when she said she was at the gym, her phone sat at the Marriott. Every time, for roughly 2 hours. I didn't confront her. I documented everything. Screenshots, dates, times. I opened a separate cloud account she didn't know existed and backed it all up. And then I waited. The acquisition closed in January. My stock options vested. $2.25 million before taxes. About $1.4 million after. I moved the money immediately. New bank, new account, my name only. Olivia never noticed. Why would she? She never looked at our finances. I handled everything. I kept working. Kept coming home at 6. Kept acting like everything was normal. But inside, I was planning. I met with a lawyer quietly. "I think my wife is cheating," I told him. "I want to be prepared." His name was Richard, mid-50s. Divorced twice. A man who had seen this exact story more times than he cared to count. "Do you have proof?" he asked. I slid the folder across his desk. Screenshots, statements, location data. He flipped through it slowly, then nodded. "This is good," he said. "Really good. What do I do?" "You wait," he said. "Let her make the first move. File first if you can, but don't tip your hand." "And the money?" "What money?" I told him about the stock options. About the $1.4 million. His eyebrows lifted. "She doesn't know?" "No." "Good, keep it that way." Michigan is an equitable distribution state, he explained. But if she didn't know about the money, she couldn't ask for it. "Is that legal?" I asked. "Debatable ethically," he said. "Legal, yes, as long as you disclose it if directly asked." Then he leaned forward. "If she files first and doesn't ask about it, you're not required to volunteer it." I sat back. "So I wait." "You wait," he confirmed. "You document, and when the time is right, you move." I waited 3 more months. In that time, Olivia got careless. She stopped hiding her phone so carefully. She started coming home later. One night she didn't come home until 2 in the morning. "Where were you?" I asked. "Jess's," she said. "We lost track of time." "Which Jess?" She paused. "Does it matter?" "No," I said. "I guess not." But I checked the tracking data. Marriott. Again, I added it to the file. Then came the Tuesday that changed everything. I was supposed to work until 6. Normal day, routine schedule. At 2 o'clock, a pipe burst in the building. Water everywhere. They sent everyone home. I texted Olivia. "Heading home early. Pipe burst at work." No response. I didn't think much of it. She was probably at the gym. Except when I checked the app, her phone was at home. I pulled into the driveway at 2:47 p.m. Her car was there. The front door was unlocked. And then I heard the creak upstairs. Standing in my bedroom, staring at Ethan in my closet, I felt something unexpected. Calm. This was it. The moment I'd been preparing for. Olivia was sobbing behind me. "Daniel, please, I can explain." "Explain what?" I said, not turning around. "Explain why there's a half-naked man in my closet." "It's not." "I don't mean how," I said quietly. "How long, Olivia?" She whispered it, 6 months. I turned to face her. 6 months, the whole time. She nodded, tears spilling freely now, unable to stop them. "And when were you planning to tell me?" I asked quietly. "I don't know," she said, her voice breaking. "I didn't know how." I let out a short, humorless breath. "You didn't know how to say, 'Daniel, I'm sleeping with someone else'?" She flinched, like the words had physically struck her. I didn't wait for a response. I turned and walked past her, heading down the stairs toward the kitchen. I could hear her following me, her steps rushed uneven. "Where are you going?" she asked, panic creeping into her voice. "I'm getting a drink." "Daniel, please," she said. "We need to talk about this." "No," I replied, opening the fridge and grabbing a beer. "We really don't." I cracked it open and took a long drink, letting the cold bitterness settle in my chest. She stood there, shaking, arms wrapped around herself, like she was trying to hold herself together. "What are you going to do?" she asked. I looked at her then, really looked at her. 8 years of marriage. 8 years of believing we were building a life together, and she had spent the last 6 months quietly dismantling it. "I'm going to finish this beer," I said evenly. "Then I'm going to pack a bag. Then I'm going to leave." "Leave?" Her voice cracked. "For how long?" "Permanently." Her face crumpled. "Daniel, no, please." My voice stayed calm, too calm. "You cheated on me for 6 months," I said. "You brought him into our house. Into our bed, into our closet." "I know," she sobbed. "I know, I'm so sorry." "I don't care." The words stopped her cold. "What?" "I don't care that you're sorry," I said. "I don't care that you're crying. I don't care about any of it." I set the beer down on the counter. "I'm done." I went upstairs and packed a bag, clothes, toiletries, laptop, the basics. Olivia followed me the entire time, begging, pleading, promising. "We can fix this," she said. "We can go to counseling. I'll end it with Ethan, I swear." "His name is Ethan?" I asked. I almost laughed. "You're throwing away 8 years for a guy named Ethan." "It's not about him," she said desperately. "Then what is it about?" She opened her mouth, closed it, no answer. "You don't even know," I said quietly. I zipped the bag, walked downstairs, and grabbed my keys. "Daniel, please." I stopped at the door and turned back. "My lawyer will contact you." "Your lawyer," she repeated, stunned. "For the divorce." Her face went pale. "You're not even going to try?" "Try what?" I asked. "Try to forgive you, try to rebuild trust." I shook my head. "You had 6 months to try. You chose Ethan." I opened the door. "I'll be at a hotel. Don't call me." I walked out, got into my car, and drove away. I didn't go to a hotel. I went straight to Richard's office. "She cheated," I said. "I caught them in my house." Richard leaned back in his chair. "Do you have proof?" "I have him in my closet on my Ring camera." I pulled out my phone and showed him the footage. Ethan arriving at 1:30 p.m., Ethan leaving at 3:15 p.m., half-dressed and running. Richard watched it, then smiled. "This is good," he said. "Really good. What do we do?" "We file tomorrow," he said. "We ask for everything." "Everything?" "The house, the cars, we cite adultery, we make her the bad guy." "And the money?" "What money?" Richard smiled. "She doesn't know about it, that means it's not on the table." We filed the next day. Olivia was served at work in front of her colleagues. She called me 17 times. I didn't answer. She texted, "We need to talk." I replied, "Talk to my lawyer." 2 days later, her lawyer called Richard. "My client would like to discuss a settlement." "I'm listening," Richard said. "She's willing to split assets 50-50. She keeps her car, he keeps his. They sell the house and split the proceeds." "No," Richard said. "My client wants the house." A pause. "And given your client's infidelity, we believe that's fair. She can't afford to buy him out. Then she can move." Another pause. "We'll need to see his financials." "Of course," Richard replied calmly. Tax returns, pay stubs, bank statements, all marital accounts. The stock option account was not marital. It was never commingled. Olivia's lawyer didn't know to ask. The divorce took 4 months. Olivia fought for the house. Lost. She fought for alimony. Lost. She tried to claim I'd hidden assets. Richard proved every dollar in our joint accounts. In the end, she got her car, her retirement account, and half the furniture. I got the house, my car, my freedom, and $1.4 million she never knew existed. 6 months after the divorce, I sold the house. Too many memories, too many ghosts. I bought a small condo downtown. Modern, clean, no closets big enough to hide a man. I quit my job, started consulting, set my own hours. I traveled. Italy, Japan, New Zealand. All the things Olivia and I talked about doing someday. Except now, I did them alone. And honestly, it was better. 1 year later, I got a message on LinkedIn from Ethan. Hey man, I know this is weird, but I wanted to apologize. What happened was wrong. I stared at it for a long time, then typed back. Did she cheat on you too? 3 dots appeared. Yeah, 2 months after you guys split. I laughed. Sorry to hear that, I wrote, but not surprised. Yeah, I should have known. Sorry again, appreciate it. Good luck. I closed the app and realized something. I wasn't angry anymore. I was free. 2 years after the divorce was finalized, life surprised me again. I met someone new. Her name was Emily. She was a school teacher, warm, grounded, recently divorced herself. She had 1 son, no lingering drama, no chaos trailing behind her. We crossed paths in the most ordinary way possible, a small coffee shop, a quiet afternoon. She accidentally knocked over her latte and it splashed straight onto my laptop. Her eyes went wide. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," she blurted out, already reaching for napkins. "It's okay," I said, laughing despite myself. "It's waterproof," she still insisted. "At least let me buy you another coffee." That one small moment turned into a 2-hour conversation. We talked about books she loved, about teaching, about her son, about how strange and exhausting dating feels after a divorce. What stood out most was what she didn't ask. She didn't ask what I did for work. She didn't ask how much money I made. She didn't try to measure my worth. She was just present, and I realized almost immediately that I liked her. 1 date became 2. 2 turned into 3. By the 4th date, she finally asked the question people always ask eventually. "So," she said gently, "what's your story? Why did your marriage end?" I thought about softening it, thought about keeping it vague, but I didn't. "She cheated," I said. "I caught her and I walked away." Emily nodded slowly. "Mine too," she replied. "Except I didn't catch him. His girlfriend called me." "Ouch," I said. "Yeah," she answered with a sad half-smile. We sat there quietly for a moment. 2 people who'd both been burned, trying to decide if trust was still possible. Then she said something that stuck with me. "I'm not looking for perfect," she said. "I'm just looking for honest." "I can do honest," I told her. And for the first time in a long time, I meant it. 3 years after the divorce, my past tried to reach me again. An unknown number lit up my phone. I almost ignored it, but something made me answer. "Hello, Daniel." I recognized the voice instantly. "Olivia," I said, "what do you want?" "I just wanted to talk," she replied quietly. "We don't have anything to talk about." "Please," she said. "Just 5 minutes," I sighed. "Fine, 5 minutes." There was a long pause on the line, then she spoke. "I'm sorry," she said, "for everything, for Ethan, for the lies, for hurting you." "Okay," I replied. "I know I don't deserve your forgiveness." "You're right," I said calmly. "You don't." Another silence stretched between us. "I heard you're seeing someone," she said. "Is it serious?" "Why do you care?" I asked. "I don't know," she admitted. "I just wanted to make sure you're happy." I almost laughed. "Happy? Olivia, I've been happy for 3 years, ever since the day I left." Silence. "I have to go," I said. "Daniel, wait. Goodbye, Olivia." I hung up and realized something that surprised me. I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel resentment. I didn't even feel sadness. I felt nothing. She wasn't a wound anymore, just a closed chapter. And I was finally at peace with that. 4 years after the divorce, Emily and I got married. It was a small ceremony, just family and close friends. Her son, Tyler, was the ring bearer. He was 8 years old and took his responsibility very seriously. At the reception, my dad pulled me aside. "You did good, son," he said. "Thanks, Dad. I mean it," he continued. "You handled everything with Olivia with real class. A lot of men would have lost control." I shrugged. "I had a plan," he laughed. "Yeah. You always do." We watched Emily dance with Tyler on the floor. "She's good for you," my dad said. "Yeah," I replied. "She really is. You tell her about the money? Last year." "And," she said, "that's nice. Can you still take out the trash?" My dad smiled. "Keep her." "Definitely." 5 years after the divorce, Olivia reached out one last time. The message was short. "I heard you got remarried. Congratulations. I hope you're happy." I stared at it for a moment, then typed back, "I am. I hope you are too." I muted the conversation, not because I forgave her, and not because I forgot what she did, but because holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to suffer. I'd spent 5 years building a new life, a better life, and Olivia didn't belong in it. Here's what I learned. When you catch your wife cheating, you have two choices. You can explode, scream, destroy, make everything ugly. Or you can stay calm, document everything, and plan your exit. I chose the second path, and it saved me. Not just financially, though the $1.4 million certainly helped, but emotionally. I didn't let her chaos become my identity. I didn't let betrayal define me. I simply moved forward. And that, more than anything, was the best revenge. If you've ever been betrayed, if you've ever had to rebuild from nothing, if you've ever chosen yourself when someone else didn't choose you, this story is for you. Because sometimes the smartest thing you can do, when you find someone hiding in your closset, is close the door and never look back.